My wife and I showed up here way back in October of 1986. We had purchased a Mako collision repair franchise, and we got that off the ground. We opened up in August of 1987, and Mako wasn't real keen on us opening here because they thought that there wasn't enough population base. They wanted us to open in Orlando or Jacksonville or someplace like that. But we had done some boating here in the county, and with my brother who lives in Orlando, and we just loved it here. And Mako was reluctant to give us the franchise for this area because they didn't think there was enough population. They didn't think we could survive. So my wife and I thought about it and prayed about it, and we said, you know what, as long as we have a roof over our head and food on the table, we'll be okay. Well, we proved them wrong. We proved to be one of the most successful Makos in the entire Southeast region. We painted over 35,000 cars and trucks while we were in business. And we competed with some big powerhouses, population powerhouses like Miami and Orlando and Atlanta and Georgia. So, and then my daughter and our grandkids moved down here in 2004. So now we're all one big happy family. What inspired me? Well, that probably started, that was a process that started about 5 or 6 years ago. I don't remember exactly when, but I got my trim notice, my tax notice came to my business. Again, we own Mako Auto Painting, and my business, I looked at the bottom of my trim notice, and there was I think it was like a $700 or $800 or $900 fee. It was a fire fee. And I scratched my head and I said, what on earth is this? So I went around to the various businesses in my area, and we were all like, you know, what is this? So I made the phone call to, I believe it was the tax appraiser's office. And I was informed that it was going to build a $3 million, I think that was the number, firehouse in Mako. And I thought, why am I being saddled with building those people's firehouse? And why does it have to be $3 million? So I called back and they said, well, the county commissioners are the ones that decided that this was the best way to pay for it. So I started to think about the county commissioners and the decisions that they make. And so I started paying a little bit more attention to the decisions that they were making. And one thing led to another, and I sat down with Bill Mick about October of 2011 and said, I want to get involved with local politics. I just want to see what's going on. I had no interest in running for an office. I just wanted to get involved with local politics, see what was influencing the county commission and county government. Well, October of 2011, I went to the various Republican clubs like the Reagan Conservatives and the Brevard Republican Executive Committee and 912 Group and Republican Liberty Caucus, and at the end of every meeting, I went and visited with the president of the organization a little bit and invited them to breakfast so that I could pick their brains, and it wasn't long after that they started coming to me and asking me if I'd be interested in running for an office. And I said, no, I will support people for running for office, but running for an office was not in my frame of mind at all. But, you know, they kept saying, well, you know, we need good people, and we need good people like you, good business people that have run a business, successfully run a business, know how to add and subtract and balance budgets and manage people, and people that have real life experience with money and not wasting money. And I said, okay, well, let me pray about it. My wife and I did, and here we are, 2 years later. Well, when I visit with voters, and I've knocked on an awful lot of doors so far, and I get a lot of feedback, and that's great, and I like meeting the people. And I find neighborhoods that I didn't know existed, so it's pretty interesting. But I tell people that I'm a fiscal conservative. I think that we need to focus on balancing our budget based on needs rather than wants. And I'm a constitutional conservative. I think we need to get back to the Constitution when we're making governmental decisions. It's the foundation of our country. It's the backbone of all our laws. And to ignore it is folly, and to ignore it is to our detriment. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm telling people. And interestingly, I taught classes in area churches for a number of years, and it was called Crown Financial Ministries. And basically what we did in that is teach people how to handle money from God's perspective, which is boiling it down to the smallest denominator is spend less than you earn focus on needs instead of wants. And that's been my mantra since I started this whole process 2 years ago. Well, it's interesting to see that so many candidates I hear those phrases coming out of other candidates' mouths now, and well, we have to focus on needs instead of wants. Well, that's good, because we do need to focus on needs instead of wants, and that's the key. Because what happens with too many of our politicians, including our local ones, they chase all their wants around. They frivolous little things and wind up being big things, cost us a lot of money. And then when needs raise their ugly heads, like roads that need to be repaved and haven't been for a long time, gosh, we don't have any money. So then they run around and they just figure, well, we'll just dip into the people's pocketbooks and their wallets and get out some more tax money. Well, we need to stop that practice. We need to do a better job of focusing on how we spend our money and put aside surpluses, because that's what happens when you focus on needs. If you spend less than you earn, then you're creating surplus. And if you create surplus, over time, you've got enough so that when you have rainy days and bumps in the road, you don't have to run to the people for extra tax incentives or fees or whatever. You just reach back and say, okay, well, here's how we're going to handle it. Yeah, if people want to know more about me, they can go to curtsmith2014.com. Okay. We've got pictures on there of our different activities, different things that I do. I've been involved in a lot of things in this county since I got here. Youth soccer, Little League, Habitat for Humanity. I serve on the board of directors for Prevent. I serve on the board of directors for Friends of Sally's House. I even do that Brevard breast cancer walk, and I've been known to put on a pink bra to do that. But yeah, I support a lot of things, and one of the things I want people to know too is you'll find out about some of those things, and we have those pictures online as well. But I want people to know that I intend to be the county's county commissioner that doesn't hide. I find a lot of these county commissioners, they get elected, you never see them again, not even at the local Republican meetings. I want to be the people's commissioner. I want to be out there, and I intend to be out there. I've always been out there, and I'm not going to change. My phone number is even on the bottom of my walking card. And I tell people, if something comes up that you have an interest in, even after I'm elected, that's going to ring right in my pocket. You're not going to get a bureaucrat, you'll get me. So I'm not going to run and hide after I get elected.
Okay.